Recording, fantastic. So if you're joining us for the first time, welcome from Cristy and I. Welcome to the webinar today, our Wednesday webinar, which we've been doing for about 6 months now during most weeks and through lockdown. And a special little topic today about relationships. And of course, if we're going to talk about relationships, we don't just want to hear one side of the story, do we? We need to have a balance of the yin and the yang and the male and the female. So if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. If you're joining us for multiple times, welcome back. This, of course, is the amazing, talented, beautiful, wonderful Coach Cristy, an MCC certified ICF coach, a NCS consultant with Dr. Joe Dispenza, and the love of my life and my business partner. Say hello, Cristy.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much. So today I'm going to be with you guys with Luke again. I believe we never do this webinar together, either me alone or Luke alone. And this is the first time that we're going to do together because of we doing this for in the topic of relationship, which is have so many dimensions, and we want to see the different side of it, and want to see and hear your comments as well. So let's make this engaged and interactive as we can for the time that we're together. It's just so happy to see many familiar faces and also the new faces. Yeah, welcome you all. Thank you for being with us today.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you, Cristy. So, yeah, we've been talking about doing a webinar like this for, I don't know, a couple of years, right? And, you know, as you saw in the promo for the webinar, Tony Robbins says the quality of your life is a reflection of the quality of your relationships. And we thought about that, and we thought about that, and we talked about that, and we explored different ways. We, you know, explored our relationships with our families and business partners and co-workers and clients and you name it, all the way around. So in the 1 hour that we have together today, we will share our point of view about relationships and why they are important. And most importantly, where you can begin to focus your energy to develop the quality of your relationships. And in doing so, you enhance the quality of your life as well. So let's jump in. I'm going to just quickly make sure we've got everyone on mute. And that's a big yes. So I will be sharing a few slides, guys, as we always do. And let us jump in. Ooh. So if you're joining us for the first time, if you go to our YouTube channel, you can find about 20 plus webinars that we've done in the past that are all pretty much leadership and coaching related, personal and professional development related. So you can take a look at our YouTube channel to find those. And we also have our Facebook group, 60-Second Leadership, where we share little tips and tricks and memes and little videos in 60 seconds or less on how you can improve yourself. And in the chat box now, guys, is the link to both of those. So take a look there after the webinar. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get updated with regular content and videos, and join our Facebook group as well. You would be very welcome. So today's agenda, let's get clear. What do we mean by relationships? What are some definitions around relationships? Discovering the 5 different dimensions. And this is what we mean by 5D. There are 5 different dimensions or areas of your relationship. All of them important. You cannot run your life successfully on 4 dimensions of relationships. You need to include all 5. Early subconscious programming from your environment. So we'll take a look there on how it's actually that you create your programming in order of understanding better who you are now and how those early formative relationships created this version that you see when you look in the mirror. Also, why is it that relationships affect the quality of your life? The relationship that limits your growth and success the most. Yep. Consciously creating your relationship. So it is time to move back into the driver's seat, and it is time to decide the quality of the relationships and who you want to spend time with. You can actually control that now. You are in the driver's seat. The most important relationship you can develop, and much more. We'll do our best to include you guys. Please, if you have any questions, pop them into the chat box, any comments. Let's keep it as interactive as we can. So, starting first with the definition, relationship is the way in which two or more people or groups regard and behave toward each other. So what are we talking about there is, well, how do you regard this person in this relationship? Do you have respect for them? Do you have admiration for them? Do they inspire you? That's what we kind of mean by regard. And then how do you behave with each other, right? Are you supporting the growth and development, or are you pulling each other down? Are you behaving like a spoiled child? Or are you demanding and telling them what to do? Or is it more loving and open and supportive and encourage and build each other up?
Mm-hmm. Or in a way that relationship has a name for, like father, mother, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, friends, or it's just a name and it doesn't have any interaction there. It's just the father at home and something happened, but I'm not going to talk to him. I'm not going to talk to her, my wife at home, or my husband at home. Or you just keep the title and never regards or behaving or take a considerate that what is going on inside that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So in summary, there's probably three types of relationships you can have: good, neutral, or bad. Right? And of course, they can work on one extreme to the other. But when we nut it down, this is how simple it is. There's a neutral relationship, which kind of looks like this. Or there's a bad relationship, which looks like this. Right? You're boxing and fighting. Or there's a loving relationship, which kind of looks something like this. Yeah. And you'll be on different ends of the spectrum with the different people that you have these different relationships with, right? We're not just talking about a husband and wife or an intimate relationship here. No, that's just one of the 5 dimensions.
And with the neutral ones, if you name neutral relationship, that is the significant sign that is about to go downhill. Because there is something that you've frozen, or you ignore it, or you don't want to see it. That is the sign of the word neutral.
Interesting. Yeah. So that might be, let's say you're in a long-term relationship, but you don't feel the love is there anymore. You just kind of pass each other in the hallway, just like strangers walking down the street. That's a recipe for disaster. So let's take a look, guys. What are the 5 dimensions of relationship? Firstly is the relationship with yourself. And interestingly, we don't actually become self-conscious based on the studies that I've done until we're about 3 or 4 years old. So until 3 or 4 years old, we're just kind of fully just like this little human walking around. And it's only at those ages of about 3 or 4 where we suddenly begin to become aware that we are individual, that we are separate from, and then we begin to develop our own identity. We recognize our reflection in the mirror and so on. And of course, then we grow up, and the older that we get, the more we realize that the relationship with ourselves is very, very important. Then we have relationship with others. Now, generally speaking, others are other people out there, but you would also include co-workers and colleagues in this section here, what we call others. Then we have friends. So we're talking about your close circle of friends here, who you spend a lot of time with outside of, work or your immediate family. Then we have your family, of course. And this is probably one of the first relationships you develop, even before yourself, because for those first few years, you're not kind of aware of yourself, but you are aware of your family. You're aware of your mother giving you milk and food, and the whole family environment, siblings and so on. And at some point in your life, you'll have a partner, right? Whether that's a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband or wife, significant other, whatever you choose. Now, if you choose to live the single life, there's absolutely no problem with that. You don't need a partner to be fulfilled. And for the majority of people out there, though, they do choose to have a life partner of some sort. Yeah?
When we grow up in certain level, we are the one that define every dimension of the fifth dimension of our relationship. The relationship about ourselves determine and define the quality of each of dimension of the relationship. And we're going to look through that more into the next slide.
Exactly. So let's take a little bit of an understanding first about our subconscious programming, which is primarily happening from your environment. So as you've heard me say on many webinars before, we are only consciously aware 5% of the day. This means that 95% of the day we're running on our subconscious programs, personalities, beliefs, values, and perceptions. And that 95% of our subconscious programming, a lot of that is formed from the ages of when we're born to 7 years of age. And that subconscious programming that we receive is basically absorbed like a sponge from the environment around us. So what do we mean by the environment around us? We basically mean our family or our caregivers. Wherever it was that you grew up, for those first 7 to 8 years of your life, you were absorbing the belief systems, the personalities, the values, the communication style, the cultural norms of the people in your environment, right? Parents, siblings, caregivers, grandparents, and so on. Now, what may not be obvious straight away, we'll take a look at these brainwave patterns here. We covered this in, I think, one of our meditation webinars that we did. You can find that on YouTube. As adults, we spend most of our time in what we call these high brainwave states between alpha and beta. Now, when we go to bed at night, we do calm the brain down and we move down into this theta state, and then finally we move into this delta state. This is what we call sleep, right? Then we wake up in the morning, and depending on how much stress you have in your life, you're straight back up to these high beta states. This is where you're living on the hormones of stress. This is where if you continue to live with these hormones of stress, you will create illness and dis-ease in the body. Now, as part of a meditation practice, whether it's you're doing some form of yoga or breathing or a meditation practice, what happens is you calm your brain waves down to around this low alpha and theta state. When you're in that low brainwave state, well, you remove all of the stress, right? You're in a stress-free kind of internal environment. But a magical thing happens. When you're able to consciously calm your brainwaves down to this state, the doors of the subconscious mind open up. So now, in this moment, you can actually reprogram yourself for greater success. You can install a new program. Now, where am I going with this? Well, as children, until the age of about 7, 8, or 9, they are always in these theta and low alpha states. So in other words, small children, their brain, their subconscious mind is wide open, just like an open doorway, so that all of the programming, all of the words and the communication, everything that they observe and model from the world around them, there's no filter. They don't really know what's right or wrong or good or bad. So whatever mummy or daddy tells them, they believe it to be true. And so this is how you have been programmed as a child. You have been simply absorbing the programs of the people around you.
Mm-hmm. So what is mean by programming and in the subconscious mind? It's mean by the way that when the children is absorb everything and into straight to the subconscious and become programming, that is exactly that everything that is absorbed, good, bad, ugly, best, is become automatic. Like when we were kids, and then if the parents or someone say that the rich is an evil, so we're going to grow up and believe that way, and automatically we see that world through the lens automatic without even think about it. So many things that the perception and the way that we are, it's become so automatic, and we unable to catch that word or catch that bad program. That's why it's very important to acknowledge what is a program and how the subconscious working in through this programming as well.
Yeah, and another example of that we might even be more obvious is, you know, children that grow up in a multilingual environment, right, where there are 2 or sometimes 3 languages spoken in the household. Have you noticed how easily the children learn to speak those multiple languages? Yeah, and they can speak 2 or 3 languages by the age of like 3 years old. And as adults, we go, wow, how do they learn that so easy? How do they remember that? How do they make it look so easy and effortless? Well, simply because they're a sponge. So they hear mummy talk in this language and daddy talk in that language, and maybe their grandparents talk in another language. It's just going straight in. They don't have a belief system that says it's difficult to learn new languages, or I'm too old to learn a new language, or I'm not smart enough. They don't have that programming yet, right? But think about it. If they continually hear money is evil, rich people can't be trusted, money is evil, rich people can't be trusted, then that's going straight into their subconscious programming. That becomes their habit of thought, right? This is also what we mean by program. So what happens then, that kid, they grow up to be 20 years old, 30 years old, 40 years old. They now have this limiting program, this limiting belief around money, and they wonder why they cannot achieve abundance in their life. Why? Because as a kid, they said, well, mummy or daddy said that money is evil and rich people can't be trusted, so I'm never going to be rich. Boom. They've made a limiting decision, which is compounded by their limiting belief, and they simply believe it to be true. And so they go through their adult life perceiving the world through this lens that money is evil, which of course is ridiculous. It's absolutely not true. So this is really important when we think about our relationships, right? This initial relationship, your first relationship is with your family, and you have received that programming from your parents, right? So it kind of looks like this. You've got your parents, you've got your siblings, right? Brothers and sisters, grandparents, aunties, uncles, and so on. And perhaps some caregivers, a babysitter or a nanny or something like that. And then to a lesser degree, some teachers, right, as you start to go to school in those early years. But for the most part, you know, around that up to the age of 7 or 8, that first relationship you're having and your early subconscious programming is from your family, right? And it just is what it is. As a child, you don't really have any control over it. You're simply going to absorb the programs from the people around you.
Yes, and if we can consume the bad program to our life, and then it wasn't quite aligned to the goal or to the way of living, the good news is we can also reprogram. It's all the time, depend on how we're going to do that reprogramming to the to our subconscious mind.
Exactly. And we'll talk about that. How can you begin the reprogramming process? Now, check this out, guys. This is one of the most important things you'll probably become aware of today. You are not responsible for your early programming. right? So as we just said, between the ages of when you're born to 7-year-old, it's automatic. You're just getting the program from the environment around you. You are not responsible for that, for your early programming. But you are now 100% responsible for your reprogramming. So what do we mean by that is, if you're not achieving specific results in an area of your life, for example, we talked about money already, and if you're consistently not achieving the wealth or abundance or the money that you feel that you deserve in life, chances are there's a limiting program that's holding you back. Same if it is relationships with a life partner. If you're consistently not achieving your goals in a specific area of your life, then chances are you have a limiting program in that specific area of your life. Now, you can't blame your parents, because guess what? Where do you think your parents got their programming from? In fact, put that answer in the chat box right now, guys. Where do you think your parents got their programming from? Put the answer in the chat box, please. Nice and quick. Quick, 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 quick. Where do you think your parents got their programming from? Yeah. Well, not exactly themselves. They got it from their parents, which would be your grandparents. So these programs are passed down through generations, right? And we're not talking about DNA here. We're talking about communication. We're talking about behavior. We're talking about observing the actions of the people in our life. So yeah, your parents, they got their programming from their parents, which is now 2 generations ago. And if your parents have not done any form of personal development work or professional development work, their program is pretty much going to remain the same. Yeah, they might get some changes or improvements through significant life events and other things going on in their lives, but chances are it's going to be 90% the same as their parents before them, and so on. So you can't blame your parents, right? They did the best they could with the resources that they had. If they knew how to do better, they would have done better. Trust me, even if there were some kind of abuse, or whether it be verbal, emotional, or whatever, they were doing the best they could. And chances are they're just replaying what happened in their own childhood. So you now, right, as a mature adult, I believe that everyone in this call is above 20 years of age, right? When we get to the age of 21 and above, now you have enough neurons and enough conscious awareness to decide and create the future version of you. And so this is what we mean by you are now 100% responsible for your reprogramming. Now, of course, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? If you're happy with the quality of your life and the quality of your relationships, then don't change it, right? But if you know that you're not getting results in a specific area of your life, chances are you inherited a program from your parents and caregivers, and that is limiting you and holding you back. So now it is the time to move over into the driver's seat. You can thank your parents. Thank you, mum. Thank you, dad. Back seat, please. I'm in charge now of my life. I am the script writer, the producer, the director, and the lead actor of my life. Thank you for bringing me this far. I've got it from here. Yeah. Now, again, yeah, percentage of reprogramming, guys, it really depends, right? And only you can decide what is right for you.
Yeah.
Cool. So, one of the presuppositions of NLP, you've heard me talk about NLP, neuro-linguistic, many times. Everyone does the best they can with the resources that they have. Everyone, including you and including your parents. And so this is why we need to stop blaming our parents for us not achieving the results in our life. Now that we're more consciously aware of the programming process, your first reaction might be, oh, Why did they give me that program? That's not fair. No. We don't go there. What we do is we take 100% responsibility for our life, and then we make some new empowering decisions to move forward.
Yes, it's just the same thing like Luke just said. In the old time, when our parents grew up, they light the candle and they use the candle to read the book, right? But they know just the candle. So at that time, the candle is the best. But right now, they're still teaching candle to us because they know just that. I'm saying this for the extreme in every behavior, like abusive, and the way that they doing it, or the way that they coping with the personality and the behavior. Doesn't mean that they like to do that, but they're doing it because of they know only that. But nowadays, is there anyone still light the candle to read the book? If we're not in the jungle, right? We're not lighting the candle anymore. We have the electricity. But what if they don't know of the electricity? If we go that far, or even further, that in that time, they don't have internet and computer. They just know only that they will project fear-based, project many things that is they think that is could be danger to that little girl or little boy because they only know that. Okay, I'm not taking any side. I'm just saying that from the perspective of become a parent and become a caregiver, they only know that. Thinking about this, and you could think small. No more candles. It's still
Only romantic candles, Dr. Gunnar. Yeah. So,
yeah.
but I mean, and it's so funny. We will try to find ways to blame our parents for everything. I remember when I was in my late 20s, I went to my second ever personal development seminar that was in Chicago in the States. And we did this process. And in the middle of this process, I'm crying like a little boy. And I was blaming my parents for being too soft on me, right? I had a pretty good upbringing. My parents were loving, they were kind, they're still together. Dad worked hard. I learned good work ethic from him. Mother just has the heart as big as the moon. And so here I am in this seminar, pissed off and angry at them because they were too soft on me, right? So whether you had a tough childhood or whether you had a silver spoon in your mouth, we're always going to find a way to blame our parents. But that needs to stop now, guys, right? We are mature men and women, and we can love and respect our parents, and we can move into the driver's seat now and drive this vehicle forward. Yeah.
Until you take that ownership, you wouldn't be able to aware what you need to reprogram. If you're not taking that ownership that they've done the best that they could with the resource that they have, and then next, what do I need to develop to reprogram in able to become the new person or to be a better version of ourselves? If we're so busy focusing on blaming them, we're not going to be aware of what do we need to work on with ourselves.
Yeah. Exactly. So one very simple, guys, and so powerful technique is basically to do some work on forgiveness, right? So the two main areas of your relationship, the two dimensions that you want to heal first is your relationship with yourself, now that you're consciously aware, now that you're an adult, and the relationships with your family. Right? Can you do them in parallel and at the same time? Yes, you can. And it was so beautiful. If may I share a little story, darling? So, many of you know Cristy and me quite well, and some of you are just meeting us for the first time. And, Cristy lived overseas for many years. And then when she came back, we met shortly after. And we fell in love, and we've both individually been passionate about our personal development, our personal and professional development. And at that time, Cristy had been a little bit estranged or separate from her family for many, many years. And there was quite a little bit of battles going on within the family. And I watched this beautiful, amazing process unfold, that as Cristy worked on herself and improved the relationship with herself, she then chose to work on the relationship with her father. Now, her and her father were really, really good at having shouting matches with each other. Really, really good at it, they were. And what I observed as a detached observer was that as Cristy worked on herself and forgave herself for some of the indiscretions of the past, shall we say, and that she got to a point of acceptance with her father, right? And because this is important, right? Forgiveness is not condoning what the other person did wrong is okay. Forgiveness is not about saying that that bad thing that they did is okay and blah, 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 blah. It didn't really happen. That is not forgiveness. Forgiveness is deciding to let yourself out of that self-created prison cell where you are holding on to that anger, that frustration, that resentment, that guilt, whatever it is. You just decide that you want to be free. So whether they feel anything because of your forgiveness or not, it doesn't matter. But what I observed Cristy doing as she worked on herself continuously, as she removed and unpacked her own negative emotion and old programming, she got to a point of acceptance with her father. She forgave herself, she forgave him, and then to observe the relationship blossom between the two of them was just a miracle to observe. And of course, they became very, very close. So this prayer of forgiveness is for you to be free for no other reason. And so you can do it for yourself and you can do it with the members of your family, whoever that might be. And it's called Ho'oponopono. And it's really, really simple and it's really, really powerful. And you can say to yourself, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you.
On that note, I just want to share the part that in between ourselves and family member and whomever that you might come up, the thought of that person might come up in right now. It's actually love. It's the pure love. But before you able to accept and feel that pure love, it's just so many garbages that is happening during the time pass by. It's some argument that is silly, which is with misunderstood. So many events that you're not in that place and they're not in your place. So the decision that making, the missing word, the missing corner of the eye, the facial expression, the feeling that it cannot be passing by, or the heartfelt of love that cannot be delivered at that time, is not able to sending or not able to receive well. So that is the blockages of feeling the pure love. If during the time that we are talking and explain all of this, if anyone particular, any face particular come into your mind, I would like you to hold that person into your mind, into your heart, and then exercise this together. Is that okay that we're gonna do this exercise together in this magical period of time together for 3 minutes? Is that okay, guys? Can I see some yes,
we've
or
got okay,
no?
we've got some thumbs up.
All right, okay. So, all right, okay. So I would like you to close your eyes and think about the person that you like to do this Ho'oponopono, either be yourself in any period of time, maybe it's younger self, or your father, or your mother, or your sibling, or your partner, or any particular friend that is pop up into your mind at this period of time. Close your eyes and holding that person close to your heart, but not yet to in your heart, but very, very close to your heart. And then look at the mind picture of that person. Tell them, I'm sorry for what we had in the past. I'm so sorry. And I know you feel this sorry. I know you feel sorry. Please forgive me for this matter. Please forgive me, because I'm also forgive you. I forgive you, so please forgive me. I love you, and I know you love me. I love you, and thank you for loving me. I'm sorry, and I know you're sorry. I forgive you, so you can be free. I am free because you forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I know you love me, and I love you. I love you. Please forgive me. I let you free, so we be free. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry, and I hear that you're sorry for what it happened. Please forgive me. I love you. I love you, and I know you love me. Thank you. Thank you for building us to this point. I let you free, and I know you let me free. I am free, so you are free. We are free. We are love. We are love. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Beautiful. So thanks, guys, for participating there. Thank you to Cristy. As you can see, very, very powerful. This is a beautiful way to start your morning. You can say this out loud, looking in the mirror to yourself in the morning. Forgive that teenage self of you that used to act out and carry on like teenagers do. Forgive that. Let it go. And enjoy the freedom from this exercise, guys. Cool. So thank you guys for playing fully there. And so why do relationships affect the quality of your life? Well, because according to Jim Rohn, you are the average of the 5 people that you spend most time with. So what does that mean is, well, it's hard to soar like an eagle when you're surrounded by turkeys. So, you know, it's really, really hard to be outstanding and to shine brightly when you're surrounding yourself with people that are going to bring you down. And this can be in any of those areas of your relationship, whether it's family or co-worker or friends or whoever. If you're hanging out with people who are negative, who talk badly of you or others, who are judgmental and critical and all of that, it hasn't got a choice except to affect your own programming, right? Even as an adult, these influences are either going to bring you down or build you up. So choose those 5 people who you spend most time with. Choose those people wisely. Make sure that they're elevating you to the next level, right? Whatever that is for you. So I know you're curious, aren't you, about what relationship is it that limits your growth and success? Any of those relationships that pull you down, right? Because it could be in any area. It could be your relationship with yourself. If you're pulling yourself down with those limiting beliefs and negative thoughts of I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'll never make it, I'm too young, I'm too old, money is evil. You are pulling yourself down with that programming and those limiting beliefs. But guess what? It could be your family, it could be your friends, it could be other people in your life. So whoever, in whichever of those 5 dimensions is pulling you down, that relationship is toxic. That's where you need to move yourself away from those kinds of relationships.
Mm-hmm. Like the coin has 2 sides. It's important to knowing that which side you don't want. So when you know exactly that what you don't want, and you make it aware, make it to be aware, and then you can flip it to knowing exactly, like for example, if you born into some caregiver that is doesn't support you and poisoning that you not do this good and that good, aware, make it awareness that this kind of power of the languages that they use, the belief is not true and is not supporting me. I need somebody that is lifting me up, believing in me. So that is the point of changing rather than dragging on and on and on. Just find that turning point of the coin. This is the bad coin, bad side. I'm going to flip to the good side of the coin and then start listing that I need the empowering belief. I need somebody to see me in the eyes of loving and believing me, and start talking with them. Are they still supporting or are they still ranting about bad things? And that will be the time that you're going to choose the close one again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And, you know, even if you have had some bad relationships in the past, whether it's family or partner or whatever, they were lessons, they were learnings, and in some way they were a gift to you, because you now know what kind of relationships you don't want. And this is important, though, to do your opono to forgive yourself. It's even if you're 40 years old and you're just getting this now, like, oh my goodness, what those horrible relationships. It's not the time to feel guilty. It's not the time to beat yourself up. It's to create that awareness and to choose differently from this point on, to reprogram yourself to create the relationships you want, because they're either pulling you down, guys, or they're lifting you up. This is, you know, when Cristy and I first met, one of the things that attracted me to Cristy was she made me, just by her presence, she made me want to be a better man. So just by her presence, she didn't try to force me or push me. Just because of who she is, I wanted to grow and improve. Yet that is a healthy relationship. That's what you want in any of those 5 dimensions. You want relationships that pull you up. Now, for those other ones that didn't quite work out, don't beat yourself up. Take the lessons, be clear on what you don't want, so then you become clearer on what you do want, and then go out there and get that. Right? So whatever the relationships and all the multifaceted relationships that you have, you can now begin to consciously choose your relationships. And for those relationships that are working, acknowledge them, thank them. Thank you for being part of my life, Cristy.
Thank you for being my part.
Yeah. Like, you know, talk to your parents. And again, remember, the past is the past. You can heal your relationships. In fact, you can heal generations within your family by taking conscious control of the relationships that you want to create, that you want to be a part of, right? And as you do so, wow, the love and the joy, it just overflows.
Up until now, I feel the need to share a little bit of personal. We talk a lot about family side. As a woman grow up, the important relationship is the daughter and father. Not that we don't have count mother, but it's with nature that when a daughter grow up, it's some special treat with father, because that is how we know, learn the love of our life. As so am I with the man and the boy growing up. The special relationship between the boy and the mother, this bond is very, very unique and very, very special. I'm saying it because of it set the standard of how you choose the partner, even you straight, you gay, you lesbian, and transgender. It's happened in that way. So I like to say this because of many of you just know that I just lost my father as a physical part, but the mind and the love is still there and bonding me forever, ever. I want to say to you that make something beautiful while you can, with your father, with your mother, with your caregiver, because that will set the compass for the rest of your life. If you have something that is negative and something that is nagging behind you, chances you who need to lift up. And if you can do that, it will set you free and set the other person, which is your parents and your caregiver, free as well. And that will be the best feeling on earth, that will set you and blessing you for the rest of your life.
Think about it, guys. You're at the age now, you are more consciously aware than your parents. Never in the history of mankind have we had more access to resources and information. It's called the internet. And you have access to that information, which your parents did not. So the sheer fact that you're on this webinar, or you've attended our courses, or you're planning to attend our courses soon, you are now more consciously aware than your parents. So this links back to that saying that we've all heard of: be the change that you want to see in the world. Don't sit around, don't wait until it's too late. Thank goodness Cristy had the consciousness to be able to heal her family by taking charge and doing so. Thank goodness that she did, right? So don't make that mistake that thousands and millions of other people make. You are in the driver's seat. You can heal your family generations and generations before. So step up, do yourself a favor and do your family a favor, and appreciate, show the gratitude for the people that are in your life right now. So, for example, this hot couple here, yeah? So we're lucky, you know, we almost met about 4 times during the duration of our life. In Australia, we were very near. In Samui, when I lived on Koh Samui, we lived 1 kilometre apart and we never met. Clearly, we weren't ready to meet just then. We were in Turkey at the same time and we never met. It wasn't until I came up here to Bangkok that we met. And what happened then was, we weren't ready. Perhaps we had some kind of sacred universal contract that we agreed that we would meet in this lifetime. But you know what? Those other 4 times, we weren't yet ready to meet. And let me tell you why. If you have done the work on yourself and you're kind of like whole and complete, but your partner is still like a half glass. In other words, there's still a lot of baggage, there's still a lot of drama, they're still working through stuff with their family, they're not quite whole. Well, 1 times a half is a half. And so this is why those relationships don't really work in the long run. Worse still, guys, if you're a work in progress, and I mean, we're all a work in progress. There's by no stretch am I saying perfection exists. What I'm saying is that Cristy and I do a lot of work on ourselves individually and together as a partnership. Now, a lot of people out there, though, they're not doing personal development. They're not doing professional development. They're walking around with all these limited programs, all of this negative emotion and all of this baggage. So now they get in a relationship because they think that this person will make me complete. And then the other person is thinking the same. Well, no, you're going to make me complete. So we've got 2 half glasses of water saying, give me the water. No, you give me the water. No, put it back over here. Well, math tells us that a half times a half is a quarter. So you know where those relationships are going, don't you? It's called a train wreck. Now, when you are consciously doing the work on yourself, when you're reading books and attending webinars and going to conferences and workshops and looking at YouTube and TED Talks, and you're continually working on yourself, you're doing your reprogramming, you forgive yourself, you forgive the others, you develop amazing relationship, you surround yourself with awesome people. Now 1 times 1 is 1, right? So this is where you become a partnership, and you still maintain your individual journey on this planet, and you respect that your partner is on an individual journey on this planet. It just so happens that you're walking hand in hand, and you are the cheerleader, you're the #1 supporter of this amazing person next to you. So please remember that as you're thinking about developing a partnership, a life partnership. Do your push-ups, do your own work to make sure you have a greater success of a long-term relationship. Right now, the most important relationship you can develop, guys, I think you've probably worked it out now. It's the relationship with yourself, right? Now, we've spoken a lot about family, but you need to do your own push-ups for yourself first, right? Before you're able to begin to heal some of those relationships in the other area of your life. Now, why is this important, guys? Is because there's a concept called perception is projection. So we don't see the world as it is, we see the world as we are. So as you clean up the lens on how you perceive the world, now every other relationship in every area of your life is going to dramatically improve. Think about it. If you're still holding on to a lot of anger and limiting belief and programs that hold you back, well, then your glass is only half full. And you'll attract friends who you're trying to top up your glass, and they're trying to do the same. Those relationships don't work. Those partnerships don't work. Then you attract other people into your life that are going to take advantage of you, walk all over you, and we don't want that. So start with yourself first, right? Please start with yourself first. And it kind of looks like this, right? There you are. There's those love hearts of the 5 dimensions of your relationships. You're on the launch pad. You're ready to take off. You're a rocket ship. But guess what? There are going to be clouds in the sky. Those clouds are going to be your negative emotion, right? Think anger, think frustration, denial, guilt, all of those kinds of things. That's going to prevent you from developing amazing 5-dimensional relationships. Then you're also going to have your compass. In which direction do you want to move in life? Well, this is where the reprogramming needs to happen, because if you're still running on an old program, which by the way is the program of your parents, and if you haven't done any conscious development work, then you're going to recreate the life of your parents. And so that way the compass is like, you don't know, like part of you wants to go this way and lead your own life, but yet you're still running on the program of your parents. Remember, we can love and respect our parents and thank them for bringing us this far in life. And as you move across to the driver's seat, now you set the GPS coordinates, you plan your route, you're in the driver's seat, and you reprogram yourself for success. And the fuel that's going to drive you forward is by surrounding yourself with positive friends, right? Whether that's friends and family and co-workers and business partners and whoever it is. Remember, we come an average of the 5 people that we spend most time with. So surround yourself with people that are going to lift you up, right? Now, all of that creates your is going to be your empowered decisions, because now you're in the driver's seat. Now you can decide. And what does that look like? In the context of relationships, making empowered decisions. Empowered decisions means I'm not going to take this anymore. I'm not going to be in the passenger seat. I'm going to get back into the driver's seat. And so what does making some empowered decisions look like? It means cleansing the toxic friends out of your life. You don't need them. Just because you went to school with them 20 years ago doesn't mean you have to hang out with them for the rest of your life. They were part of your journey, not necessarily the whole journey of your life. So if people are pulling you down, simply cleanse them and eliminate them from your life. Now, I know you're thinking, yeah, but what about my family? They're kind of toxic. Can I just eliminate them? Well, what you can do is limit your time with them, right? You limit your time. If you have a very toxic family that is pulling you down and holding you back, simply spend less time with them. If that means you need to move out of the family house, then these are some tough decisions that you need to make. If you're serious about creating your life on your terms, you can lovingly move out of the family home and to create your own space, to create your own life.
And limiting the interaction doesn't mean that you have to stop, but make it awareness that which one wasn't empowering, and then trying to acknowledge that together next time when you have time together. And in that way you educate them that this way you're not taking it, this is a boundary that you set between you and your family.
That's right. Now, clearly you need to do some work on yourself first, so that as you have those conversations with them, you don't react, in anger or frustration or sadness, that you can hold yourself, you can have these adult conversations with your family, and then you be the change that you want to see in the world. Over time, they will evolve and change. So limit yourself around any form of toxicity. Choose your new friends wisely. Clear up those blockages from the past, guys, those negative emotions, the values. Clear up your old programming. Reprogram yourself for positivity and success. And the only way you're going to do that is through some kind of personal or professional development. It can be a self-study, or you can just simply decide to come to more webinars, come to more courses, or to join a certification program. As you know, next month, we do have a couple of trainings coming up, which we support these companies to do exactly the same thing, to develop the relationships inside of the company. Think team building, collaboration, and synergy. We're using these same tools of the NLP leadership and coaching 4-in-1 certification, which is starting next month, 5 to 9 of November. It's here in Bangkok, and it's provided as a virtual webinar as well. So you can join from absolutely anywhere. Payment in full, just 50,000 baht, or a convenient 5-month payment plan of just 10,500 per month. And if you'd like to help more people, perhaps you'd like to become a professional coach by joining our ICF Leadership Coaching Certification, which again is provided in Bangkok as a live workshop or virtually online from anywhere in the world on 14 and 15 of November. Webinar special is 55,000 for payment in full, or simply 11,500 over 5 months. So please, guys, do join us for one of these workshops. If you're serious about developing the relationships in your life, come along and join us. I'll send you an email with the details. Thank you, guys. Thanks for hanging in there with us. This is a sweet webinar for us, the first time to really share, and quite personal as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you all very, very much for your participation today. Turn on those cameras one more time so we can see those beautiful smiling faces, if you don't mind. And all the best, guys. Stay in touch. You know where to find us. If you have any questions about relationships you'd like to improve, stay safe, stay awesome, and see you guys soon. Bye for now.
Love you guys. Thank you very much.
Ciao, ciao.